Just on time. Only 2 minutes late. What is up, everybody? Okay, hopefully everything's sounding good, looking good. No technical difficulties tonight, which is really exciting considering that it's very quite common.
You are fake news.
Very quite common that happens. Let's see here. Okay, if everything looks good and sounds good, if somebody could give me, or a couple of people could give me some thumbs ups, that would be rad, just to make sure that everything is rocking and rolling. It's good to see you guys. Okay, let's see here. Got 19 of you on here. Got some sound effects in the background. I'll turn it down a little. Let's get my mic up. Sometimes people say it's a little quiet. So we're going to go super hot tonight with this mic. There we go. All right. So let's get those thumbs up. Let me know if this looks good, sounds good. And we will start tonight's episode, number 87, Artistic Freedom, with your boy, Joshua Ray Farmer. Okay, Brody Jade saying thumbs up, and she's usually the one who has the technical difficulties on her side, so it sounds like it's going to be fine tonight. So what's up, everybody? Dambrier's asking, yeah, what news crew showed up? 3 different news crews showed up, so that's kind of cool. I don't watch news, so I'll be actually butchering the names, but it's Channel 47, I think, Channel 27, and also Telemundo. Almost said it wrong. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a second, I'm sure. So we got a bunch of news, bunch of information, bunch of stuff to share tonight. I know you guys want to hear a little bit about what happened to the shop this week, technically this weekend, and what that was like and what's been going on with it. It's very exciting. Hopefully the dude is shivering in his boots. I know he is. I know he's watching. I know he's looking, and I know he's paying attention because he knows that he's he has to be on the lookout for getting caught right now. He's very worried. And so we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. But really, that's not as important. There's something else way more important I'd like to talk about here in a little bit. And we'll get to that, of course, too. I'll mention that. So I'm going to dedicate tonight's show to another tattoo artist that recently passed away. We're going to get into that, and I'm going to show you guys some information. I hate to just drop it on you like that, but he was a fellow tattoo artist here in town. An awesome dude. Some of you already know who it is. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, about him, his legacy, and my involvement with him and his family, or at least in supporting him, and how you guys can do the same. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Tonight's topic was about community, like how important is community, how do you build community, networking, community, family, business, whatever it is in relationship to all that. How important is it? How do you do it? You guys asked a bunch of questions online, and I'm going to answer them with you. So before we get into the questions, let's talk to you guys directly. Looks like we got Kimmy on here. What's up, Kimmy? Thanks for setting the flags. Fuck yeah! Brody Jade's here, of course. Amandy, what's up? Good to see you. We got Lenore. What's up, Lenore? And of course, always thank you for the flags. All right, let's see here. Who else is on here? Rochelle looks like she's not going to be on here all night, but that's okay. Good to see you, sis. Okay, we got Barkus. What's up, Barkus? I actually didn't mean to play that one. I meant to play this one, but I don't think it's any better. There you go. Okay. Wendy, good to see you on here. Let's see who else. We got Josh. What's up, Josh? Josh, thanks for your help this week. I really appreciated it. The back door was busted wide open, and Josh showed up to help me all day long till the wee hours of the night. He's definitely a rock star. Okay, so who else we got on here? Who else is on here not saying hello, not getting in the comment section like you should, right? So get in the comment section, say what's up. Okay. The grinder, whoever that is saying sounds good. Thank you for that. Landy, what is up, Landy? Good to see you. Christy, of course, the OG Christy, who bought my shirt off my own back. I should have just given it to her because I should be that kind of guy, but I'm not. I sold it. Well, she offered, in my defense. Heidi, what's up? Good to see you on here. Missed you last episode. We didn't see your name. And Dambria, of course. Dambria's on here. Dambria came to one of the last classes, which was really cool. So thanks for joining us that evening. It was very, very much fun. So did Christy. Actually, she talked her into it. Landy, yes, Telemundo. I believe, I don't know. I don't know all of these channels, to be honest with you, all the news channels. I got interviewed by 3 different ones, and they did take video. I don't know if they'll share them, but they did already write a few articles, so we'll see. Okay. Lenore says, looks good as always. Awesome. Or you look good like always. Cool. I'm half the show, I guess, so that's a good thing. Amanda saying, I'm sorry that happened to you, Farmer. You know what, Amanda? Don't worry about it. It's not about me. I'm just glad that everything's okay and that we can still rock and roll at the shop. So we'll talk about some of that here in a minute. Dambria, thanks for sharing this. Okay. Yes, thank you, Landy, for that. Okay. Wait, hold on. The grinder is saying it's mom. Not sure why I'm the grinder. Uh, well, I have like 4 moms, so you might have to be more specific. Okay, Mike, what's up, man? Thanks for being on here. Good to see you. We're gonna have a good episode tonight. We're gonna go through a lot of information. We're gonna share a lot tonight. I don't know how long the episode's gonna be. We're just gonna rock and roll and have fun. It's kind of early. I started the stream a little late, but let's go. Gabriel saying who's coming to paint night. You guys need to respond. Casey, what's up? Thanks for being on here. Okay, let's see. Did you get my question? Mike saying, did you get my question? I don't know. If you submitted it, I sure I did. I'm sure I did. Okay. Let's go here. Oh, interesting. So it's Susan, and she's in to stop in and see me before she goes to bed. So it's the grinder and her emoji or her. Let's see, what is this here? This little dog icon. Mom, you're gonna have to fix that. I don't know what's going on.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Okay. So again, the topic tonight is going to be community, how important it is. And you guys asked questions and I will give them answers. I'm going to start it this way. Okay. I'm going to say that community is pretty much everything, right? Otherwise you're just stranded on an island, right? Or you're lost. And we can all just admit that's probably not best case scenario for most people. I think that's going to be, worst case scenario to some degree for a lot of people. I think community is incredibly important, needless to say. So let's not talk about the obvious, but I will say a few other things about community before we get into the questions. That community is something as easily defined as the people and, the businesses and the customers to the family and the friends and just the people that make up your local area. And you could be as broad as that all the way down to a community you built around something. So, for example, I'm part of the quote unquote tattoo community. And I don't say that lightly. I mean that it's a loose subject to some degree because it's an industry, but it's a much bigger community than that. It's a lot of brothers and sisters and friends and family. It's people we know. It's people that we haven't met, but that we respect or look up to. It's people that we get inspiration from, whatever. So specifically talking about the tattoo community is very important. So I'll do my best tonight to get your guys' questions in the comments. If you could save some of the questions for the end of once we get cleared all the questions that are submitted, then that will be easy for me to answer. So a little bit later, I'll let you know when that is. Or if I don't let you know, remind me. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Mike says, everyone, even though this dude gets ripped off, he still bought me a burger. Well, Mike, who doesn't like a good burger every once in a while? You know what I mean? And Josh, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. Reagan is saying, Josh, I sent you a message on Instagram. That's awesome. I don't always see them right away. I have lots going on, but I will do my best to try to find it. The best way to get a hold of me if you need to is the shop or via website, or just come in, call us, whatever. But I will do my best to look at Instagram. I'm sorry I can't get to it all at this moment. Okay. Let's see here. I'm sure you appreciate it. Helped so much. Yes. So that was really cool that Josh came and helped us fix our back door after the dude destroyed it. So let's talk about community. Let's touch on that. So you guys are obviously a part of my extended community, and it's a big deal because we support each other. We look after each other. That's the whole point, right? You could just think of it as a family. That's the best way to put it. So I asked you guys, like, how important do you think community is? How do you build community? Like, what are your thoughts on it? So I want tonight's episode to be focused around that. There was a time in my life, well, there's many times in all of our lives, especially mine, I can say, where community has been everything. When I opened my shop, so many people, even watching, Mike, for example, Kim, showed up and helped. They painted the walls, they tore up the floor, they put holes in the walls like Sheldon. There's so many people involved in just making my business happen, right? Family in general, from kids to extended family to cousins. I mean, all that stuff's obvious, but having that tight knit community, right, is like a huge deal. Not just for when things are going right, but even more specifically when things are going wrong. I think community is, again, best summed up as the people you have surrounding you. And I can definitely attest to the fact that I have a really great group of people surrounding me. And I want to add that what's interesting about it is growing up, I didn't have a bunch of friends. I know it's hard to imagine with these blue eyes and this chiseled jawline. I didn't have a bunch of friends, and I didn't have any close-knit community, I barely had family close to me. And for the few that were there, I cherished them. But I moved a lot. I was moving around a lot. I never really had stable relationships, honestly, really with anybody besides my sisters, all 6 of them. Well, at least a few of them I was really close to growing up. That being said, it became really important to me as I grew up. It was always obvious to me at an early age, like I wanted to have a community. I tried to start a band. I tried to find best friends and hang out during the summers after school. I tried to build community even as a young man. What I noticed is it's not as easy as it sounds. And a lot of it comes down to this, and I want to share this key before I get to the questions. A lot of it comes down to who you are and what you're bringing to the table, the community that you fit in or that fits around you. Whatever community you become part of, and we're all integral parts of it, and we can be in different places, almost like a family, right? Where you have the father, you have the mother, you have the kids, the youngest, the oldest, the middle. There's different positions for everybody, right? There's grandparents, there's cousins, there's nephews and uncles. That's what a community looks like, right? Maybe one business owner in town like kind of dominates the rest of the businesses, but doesn't mean necessarily that he's an enemy, roughly speaking. But just because somebody in your family is more successful or smarter or faster or fitter, older or wiser, whatever it is, doesn't mean they're necessarily better or not. It just means that that's another person on your team. And when you look at it that way, I will tell you right now, it's an amazing experience. There was also, not just with building my business, a time in my life where I went through some serious struggle. And I can definitely say, at that time, I was in a really fucked up mental spot, and I can absolutely admit that I was trying to sabotage my life. Looking back on it now, I could tell that the subconscious mind took over, and I was in a really bad place. And people came to my aid. And not only did people come to my aid, but I built a community around it, and it was really built for me by many of you. And I had an artist at the time. Honestly, a lot of you don't know this, but there was a time where I almost lost everything. I was trying to give up my career. Almost lost the house I was living in. Didn't see my kids as much at the time. I was just completely a mess. This is almost 10 years ago, and it was just a complete wreck. And let me say this. I had an artist, a local artist, who's been on the show before. You guys know who he is. And he reached out to me just to say, basically, look, I know this is tough. I know that this is a hard time. I don't know you personally. I don't actually even think we met up to that point. But he said, I'd like to do something for you, throw an event and raise some money. And I thought that was really cool. And at first it's, in the moment it was really confusing. And I just still was in shock. But looking back on it now, had he not done that event, man, I would have been screwed because I was in such a wreck. I couldn't work. I couldn't think. I couldn't do shit. And so him reaching out and raising money for me and my family at that time was incredible. So it was another tattoo artist here in town. If you guys know who Greg Sumi is, shout out to Greg Sumi. Thanks so much for doing that. Greg Sumi, I will totally accredit for within this community, leading me into thinking more like a community, more like a family, more like, in a moment, a person, total stranger who reached out to me and donated his time and effort and money. He lent his shop to us. He, opened it up to everybody. He got food going. He got all the artists. I mean, so many people participated, and I've said thanks to him so many times, but I don't think I'll ever be able to say it enough. So Greg Sumi, thank you for doing that. It meant a lot to me and my family. It was a huge deal. And at the time, I was pretty useless, so it probably seemed like it didn't matter to me. But now, looking back, he really set an example for me. So you guys can thank him, Greg Sumi, for this, because I'm now here to talk to you guys about community tonight, how much it matters, and how we can all work together. So that's really what tonight's episode is about, and we'll get to the questions. Okay, let's see here. Again, if you guys have questions, try to save them for a little bit because we're going to get into some topics, but I'll do my best to pay attention to the comment section. Get in the comment section. If you're watching this in the background, say what's up. Show the stream some support. It's going to be worth it tonight, and let's get into it. Mike says, Greg's a stud. You are 100% right.
That's why I managed to stay single this whole time,
I'm surrounded by too many studs. Okay. Kim says, I totally agree with Josh. What you reap what you sow. 100%. 100%. Okay. So the first question, let's get to some of these. All right. We're going to talk about some good stuff tonight. Let's get to the questions first, and then we'll get to the questions you guys have on here. And then I want to make a few announcements as well and show some respect to a fellow artist. So let's do this. First question is, thank you. Well, you're welcome. That's my first question. It's pretty cool. So for you guys and girls lurking in the background, message right now, say what's up, send a flag, send a thumbs up, whatever you want. We love your flags. Or, of course, Heidi, thank you for that. You guys also don't be afraid to send this channel and this stream. You can go down at the bottom and send a thumbs up. and or a heart or whatever you want. Just support it any way you can. Danbury says, a gentleman and a scholar. Okay, so the first question coming from Facebook. Actually, I don't know where these questions are coming from. I screenshotted them, so forgive me. But it says, what are your top relationships key? What are your top relationship keys? Mike, thank you. I can do this. Okay, so what are your top relationship keys? Oh, that's a really good question. I'll try to go quick. Top relationship keys. You are the person you're bringing into the relationship. So the relationship heavily depends on you. It doesn't matter the relationship. You know, I think of relationships in three ways: pluses, equals, and minuses. There's people in your life that you look up to for some reason. There's people that you look up that are equals and they're buddies and you hang out with and it's just chill time. And then there's people who are minuses, which are below you in the sense that not that they're less valuable, but that they look up to you. They want to learn from you. They want to support you, and they respect you at a high level. And so pluses, equals, and minuses. So my top relationship keys are: first, recognize the pluses, equals, and minuses in your life. Recognize them and make sure you have them all. Make sure you have all of them. And of course, the other one is if you want to level up and become like the ones that are your pluses and get away from your equals, it's going to be very hard because people tell you all the time to cut people out of your life and to move on. And sometimes you have to, but a lot of times that's not what you got to do. You want to be a community leader and you want to become something other people can look up to. And they love to see the transformation, even though there's some pushback and there's some bumpy roads there. They want to see you progress so that they could learn the path themselves. They might not always know this consciously, but they can learn the path themselves and do it as well. And so once you level up, they can see that and it works really fucking well, like really well. Okay. Josh says, Greg's an absolute stand-up guy. You are 100% right. 100%. Christy sent a super sticker. Thank you, Christy, so much for the super sticker. What can I give you here? Let's give you, how about that? Thank you so much for that super sticker. That was rad. Okay, Mike, thanks for the flags. So there's my relationship keys. What are your top relationship keys? Pluses, equals, and minuses. Get them in your life. Become them, recognize them, and treat people accordingly and with the utmost respect possible. Okay, next one is how can we turn advisory into opportunity? Advisory, I think it maybe means adversity. How can we turn adversity into opportunity? Well, the only opportunity you ever really have is adversity, right? Every problem, everything that you think is wrong, I just got broke into, right? The building got broke into, and I look at it as an opportunity. It's an absolute, so you can see it as a negative, right? So you're saying, how can I turn adversity into opportunity? Well, one way you can do it, I can't even get that out of the screen. So turning adversity into opportunity is, we got broke into, so I can look at it as how to fortify my fortress just a little better, how to train my employees, myself, and others to be a little safer, to be more diligent. Where are the weak points in my perimeter? So I look at it as opportunity because it's a real life kick in the pants. So what happens is you can check yourself or wreck yourself. You can either say, what can I do about this? Or why has this happened to me? One is a victim mindset and one is a victor mindset. You decide. Adversity happens to everybody. Bad things happen to everybody. It's unfortunate. Evil as well as, misfortune is not partial to good people or bad people, unfortunately. That is my personal opinion. Now, I think in the end, good always wins. So that's good news. But unfortunately, I do think that life, unfortunately, happens in some of the worst ways to some of the best people. And so there's everything in between that. Just wanted to say that. So how do you turn adversity into opportunity? It's really simple. Find the good and the bad. Don't be a victim. It's really that simple. Mike says, you turn adversity into buying me a burger. Mike, you must be bored wearing an apron, cooking dinner for yourself on this lonely night. Jessica's on here. Jessica, thanks for joining us. She says hello, so everybody can say hi to her. Okay, we got a bunch of thumbs up now. Thank you for that, but there's not as many as there are people watching, so guys, get on that. Support the stream. Okay, thank you for sending that, Josh. Okay, so next one. Interesting. Who would you say knows you best? Oh, man, that's me. Man, I don't know. to be honest with you, I got a lot of really close people in my life that I love and cherish. But if I were to pick one person out that knows me best, it's a real toss up. It's a real toss up. I'd love to say my parents, but I really don't know because everybody knows a different side of me. Everybody knows a different side of me. My parents, my kids, my coworkers, my artists know a totally different side of me. I would say the closest thing I got is probably my homeboy Sheldon. That would be the closest person. This person asking, I'm sure, loves to hear that. So, Shelly, that's it. Okay. Brody Jade says, you must pay for everything in this world, one way or another. That's 100% true. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, next one. Here's a business-related question. When hiring or interviewing, what type of body language are you looking for? It depends on the position, right? That's too vague. So when I'm hiring, what kind of body language am I looking for? To be broad, I would just say confidence, of course, right? Standing up, shaking hands, eye contact. If you can't do that, I'm not going to work with you. If you can't handle basic adult shit, then I'm not going to work with you. If you can't put, resume together, if you can't look somebody in the eye and hold your fucking head up on a regular basis, which I should do more of because my neck is always killing me. Yeah, you should be able to be an adult by the age of 18, to be real with you. It's not that fucking hard to do the basics. Look people in the eye, stand up, shake hands, put your shoulders back, and stop fidgeting, right? Be stand up. Little tip to stop fidgeting, because I do this a lot because I sit often. So when I do get up, I want to move. Today, like for example, today and yesterday, I was doing a lot of interviews for the news channels. So I would place my feet far apart, not super far. I'm not squatting or spreading them, but just far enough that you can't really be dancing around with your feet and playing footsie with the ground. So little news flash for a lot of people. Stop bouncing around when you're in a professional environment. Okay. So that's what I look for in regards to when hiring or interviewing. Side note, I also think in regards to hiring and interviewing, what I'm looking out for, I'm always thinking, so it's in regards to community, you're always making, it's like a touch point. You're reaching out to the community to let them know there's an opportunity, and then you're meeting these people and screening them, talking to them. You got to not forget that. And when you're in a business, you start to think this way a lot more, that these are potential clients now in the future, right? Whether I'm looking for an employee or a filmmaker or a cameraman or a new artist, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Or a date. Maybe you're looking for a date. Maybe you're looking for a relationship. Does not matter. You're swiping left and right on somebody cute, or you're reading resumes to hire somebody. You're making a contact point with a real fucking human, right? Think of it that way. Making a contact point with people who like to buy shit, who need things, who need problems solved, who need help, who need advice, or who have things you need, or who know things you don't know. That's where real life actual shit comes from. And so it's a congregation of people and information, experiences, and tools and skills. And that's a community, right? Like we're talking about tonight. So I do actually think of that when I'm hiring. Who is this person? And a lot of times these people that apply for jobs that I've interviewed, which is quite a few people now over the years, a lot more than I expected. I can't believe how many people are interested in working with me. It's awesome. And I'm blessed and I'm thankful. But what's interesting is you might find that they are not a good fit for the position. And they don't know that, but they're convinced, because they're there to convince me that they want the position because they need the job, need a job maybe. And maybe they think they're right for the position. But if you're going to be a receptionist and handling paperwork and doing data online, you probably shouldn't be an artist and creative because you're going to hate it. And if you're an artist and you're creative, you probably shouldn't be doing data online. So at least very little. So I'm hiring for the right position, which doesn't mean this person's bad. There's nothing wrong with them. It just means they need to be put in the right place. So oftentimes I don't think really a personal problem as much as it's a managerial problem, a talent scouting problem for a lot of people hiring the wrong person and for the wrong position. So I've had to learn this the hard way. That's probably the only way. It's yourself. It's true. Yep. That freaking Shelly Daddy Bear. That's right. Okay. Let's get to the next question. We're going to blow through these kind of quick tonight so we can get to the hot topics. You guys want to know what information has transpired since the building's been broken into, and also some better information on how we can support Chris's family and in this unfortunate time. So we'll get to that here pretty soon. Okay, what are your 5 relationship red flags is the next question. What are your 5 relationship red flags? Again, that's a very vague, broad thing, right? Like what relationships, professional relationships, personal relationships, what are your 5 relationship red flags? Let's just say broadly. One is you have to accept people for who they are, not for who you want them to be. And in romantic relationships, this is probably almost always worse because when you're a professional looking for a relationship with somebody, whether it's hiring them or working with them or whatever the position may be, it's a little easier to see the red flags because you're not as emotionally invested, right? This is more financial, and it's easier to make financial decisions based off people's skill level than it is emotional because, man, those emotions get in the way. You think somebody's super attractive, you see a body part you like or a feature of them or something they have to offer, and you get clouded and stupid. So that being said, Linda, if you're out there, I got to just reach out and say, you're my favorite. I'm just going to throw that in there. That was perfect timing. Really good little segue. So those are I would say that those are relationship red flags that, somebody's not able to hold themselves together, of course, or they are not, kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Relationship red flags are accept people for who they are and stop trying to make them who you want them to be. So read the silver lining, but also be realistic, right? That's a relationship red flag would be people pretending, right? People showboating, people that are, one red flag would be very simply somebody who has a history of a certain type of behavior that doesn't work for you. That's a real red flag, real big red flag. Maybe she's talking more specific about relationships, but I'm just going to take it as broad. And so I just accept people for who they are. Doesn't mean I accept them in my life, but I accept them for who they are, not who I want them to be. And I got to keep them at a designated distance depending on the conclusion. That's a really good way to put it. Okay, if I don't say so myself, which I do say so myself. Okay, let's see. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the comment section. Guys, thanks for being on here, all of you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and I'm thankful for you. Hopefully this doesn't sound too dry and stale. I'm not trying to blow through these disrespectfully, but get to all of them for sure. Okay, what are the top 3 steps in building a community? That's a good question. I haven't thought this through. Top 3 steps? Okay, let's see if we can break this down. What are the top 3 steps in building a community? You guys probably have some input. Maybe you can give me some input. What's 1 or 3, ranked in order or not, keys to building a community? What do you guys think? So I would say 1 is you have to put yourself out there, right? You're not going to build a community sitting in your mom's basement eating Cheetos, watching, video games. So the top 3 steps in building a community, one you have to be present. So a little hack there is if you want to build a community, you want to be a part of something, you're tired of being lonely, you want better support. Guys, if you're not already convinced that your community is everything, meaning if you don't have the money you want, it's simply because you don't know the right people. Or actually, if you're not getting the kind of money you want in life, you probably don't know enough people. If you're not getting the results in life, the relationships, for whatever reason it may be, you don't know enough people or the right people. You know the wrong people and too many of the wrong people, not enough of the right people. So it's all about getting around those things. But a little clue is people aren't going to let you in the circle until you develop enough to make sense within their circle. So it's a personal development issue like we talked about this last episode, which we'll talk about more in future episodes because it's fucking fundamental to a good life. So the top 3 things to building a community, 1 is you have to make yourself available. Go be part of a community. Mind blown, right? Like a lot of people don't think this. I thought this when I was a kid. So I joined churches. I went to programs. I did studies. I did Bible studies. What were some of the other things? Toastmasters, which is a speaking group. I didn't really like them. Super cheesy. And like they give rewards for any little thing you do. Maybe some people need that. I didn't like it. And just be part of something, right? Nowadays, you guys have it online. Get online and be part of a community. Like I just recently have been going to the City of Clovis Chamber of Commerce events, and like first hour, I was like mind blown. Like, oh yeah, these are the people that I need to talk to in regards to my business and some of the questions I have. Like, why have I not been here? So get out there. If you guys aren't building the life you want, I'm gonna tell you right now, you just don't know the right people and you don't know enough of the right people. It's really, really that simple. I really do think so. But the key is that to get around those people, you have to have good reason to be, because they're not going to let you in just because you're cute. Maybe if you're a young, hot chick, I don't know, maybe, but I don't think that goes very far. You might get invited on the yacht, but not to the yacht club. So maybe that will or won't work. So that's it. Top 3 steps. Number 1, putting yourself out there, become a part of other communities. Another step to building a community, I would say, is you have to be of value yourself. Kind of talked about that on the first step, but you have to, you're the tool that you're bringing. You're the skill, I should say, that you're bringing to the gunfight, right? The gunfight is real, and your whole life you train. Your training is what you get to bring. And now that you're in a real gunfight, right? Like actually life matters. You need relationships, you need people, you need to, cure your loneliness, or you need to make more money in your business, or you just want better people around you, or you want a tighter, stronger family. The skills you learn before the gunfight is going to be so important, because when you get in an actual gunfight, metaphorically, guys, when you get in an actual gunfight, people say this all the time with firearm training, that when you're in an actual gunfight, you result to your lowest form of training. So when you actually get into the thick of it, your lowest level of training, your lowest form of training, right, whatever that is, the worst you ever are and could be at training, is exactly how you'll perform. So you might perform really well in talking to people, and when you like them, and it's good and it's cool and it's easy and it's casual, but when you get put on the spot, how do you feel? How do you perform? How do you perform on stage, right? How do you perform in front of people, new people that don't like you? How do you perform under pressure? For example, when my building got broke into, I was pretty pissed, of course, because the first thing I thought was like, man, this would be really fucked up if they really mess with my or the other artists, especially single mothers raising their kids, ability to provide for their families. That's going to be really screwed up. So I'm going to have to fix that right away. So I was pretty pissed. When I realized that we were still in the game and everything was good, we'll get into that. If you guys have questions and want to know more, I'll share. But man, it took everything for me to just breathe, chill, and be like, well, what can I do? What can I do right now? Right? Nobody's in immediate harm at the moment. I found out hours later after it happened. And what's the next move, right? Like, get your head out of the clouds, get your head out of your ass, learn self-control. And when you do that, I guess what kind of my point is, when you do that, now you're developing as a person, and you will find better communities to be part of, because you are the tool you're bringing to the gunfight. So in life, if you're not finding yourself part of the right communities, or you don't have your own community that you've built yourself, which I think everybody should, it's so important to learn how to do this, because it's harder than you think, right? And it's easy to, let's say, not diminish, but it's easy to categorize somebody's community. Like the tattoo community we have locally is pretty badass, more badass than you guys think. Maybe some of you know, but I have paint nights. Some of you guys have been, Barkus has been, a lot of you folks that are watching have all been and been part of it, even helped, right? Whether you're buying tickets or selling tickets. That's building community. That's the whole point that's really the point of those events, is exactly that. You guys getting to know each other, making a tighter bond, and as well as us and the artists and everybody, building a stronger community. It's everything. I teach this to my artists and my apprentices all the time. So I think it's obviously super important, and it's a staple in our business for sure. I think this question for me, Barkus is saying, what do you look for in a good tattoo balm? Would you be interested in trying one I can make? I would, of course, try some. I don't know if I would necessarily want to sell it until I try it out on myself or somebody I know, like yourself, when it comes to aftercare. But if it comes to just tattoo maintenance, I mean, I'd be totally down for that, Barkus. And you know this. Okay. Let's see. I'm kind of scrolling through just to take a look. Okay. Ian just popped in. What's up, Ian? He's saying that he's working tonight, but yeah, he'll join us if he can. Okay. All right. So let me get to the last part of this 3-part question, which is, what are the top 3 steps in building a community? So the first one is you have to get out there. The next one is that you have to become something so that people will let you in. And then I would say the last part is, in terms of building a community, is nurturing. You got to nurture it. You can't just be part of something and expect, oh, I'm in now. That's like relationships. People get married and they're like, oh, we're there. And they neglect it, and it takes less than a few years for it to fall apart, sometimes almost immediately, right? Nobody gets married so they can have more sex. It's just, well, they might think that, but we know that statistically speaking, that's not how it works out, because people drop the ball once they become part of a community, and that's what you shouldn't do. Whether it's a family or a business, you have to nurture those relationships. So those are the 3 things. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be of use and of value to some high level, or to some level at least. And yeah, you 100% in regards to that you need to nurture it. You need to take care of it, and you need to treat it with respect. So that would be my top 3 things. Okay, it looks like we got Dominic on here. What's up, man? He says, sorry I'm late. Dominic, you're only 42 minutes late. That's totally cool. You joined at a perfect time. You should stay on and don't leave our side. Okay. Dominic, we're going to be touching on some pretty important stuff here pretty shortly. So join us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being to the class, coming to the class. It was really cool to see you and meet you and have you there. It was awesome. Total pleasure. Everybody loved you. So I just need to let you know that. Okay. Let's get to the next one. And then once we cover some of these, we will get to questions directly. But let's get this last one, I believe, from Facebook, and we'll get to Instagram. I can't actually read this one. We'll skip that. Okay. Here's the next question. Oh, look, not a question. It's totally cool. I like the non-questions because it's a little bit of a curveball in the mix. What do fish do when it falls in love with a fisherman? It gets hooked up. Okay, that was pretty good. Somebody asked, how was being on the news? It just feels like being on here. Doesn't feel much different. I'm already prepared for it. And the people, everybody who's interviewed me the last couple of days actually was super fucking cool. Everybody's been really kind, really nice. Some of them like way too smart to be behind a camera. Really cool people. You know, they immediately followed me on Instagram and they've been communicating with me since. And it just seemed like really cool people. And it's just awesome. So again, to one of the questions asked earlier, what was the question? How can you turn it says adversity into opportunity? Well, look for the good and the bad, right? Which I've been doing my best to do. None of us are perfect. Okay, so how is it being on the news? That's my answer. It's a lot like doing this. What's the best? Somebody asked when and where. They're probably asking like where to watch this stream. All of you know that, obviously. And if you're seeing this, I wouldn't have to tell you, but I need to be better on Instagram at letting people know about the show. Okay, next question is, what's the best way to start a day? What's your way? Well, one, the best way is to wake up, obviously. But what's not so obvious to people is to wake up at a time you decided, right? You have to decide. When you wake up on the time you've decided to wake up, that's a quick little instant win, right? And it's pretty cool to start off that way. And then the other best way to wake up is make sure you're in control of your thoughts and they're not letting them get away from you while you're daydreaming, getting ready in the shower, letting scenarios that aren't even real run through your head until eventually they seem so real you make them happen and find out that trying to avoid your path often leads you to the path you're trying to avoid. So sometimes just your mind is playing tricks on you. So the best way to start your day, to your question, I think, is intentionally. You should start your day intentionally with the time you get up. The thought, like ask yourself, what thoughts would I like to have in the morning the night before? What clothes would I like to wear tomorrow? Whether I'm going to the gym or going to work or both, getting that ready, planning that out ahead of time. So when you wake up, you're sticking to schedule and you are starting the day off with a winning mindset. I think that's huge. And control that mindset because you are in control of it. You can decide what it is you think about. So be careful with that. Take inventory of your thoughts and correct them where needed. There you go. Amanda says, amazing community you have built around you. I totally agree, 100%. Do I have the... There we go, Amanda. Thank you so very much for that. Looks like we got Natalie on here. What's up, Natalie? Thanks for sending the flags. You know. Okay, let's see here. Scrolling down. So if I'm missing any of you folks on there watching, say what's up. Pop in. Say what's up. Send us a thumbs up on here. And yeah, there you go for the stream. I'm not going to ask for any super chats tonight because I never ask for super chats, which is a way for you guys to donate to the show at the bottom and hit the little tab and send some money, which is really cool. I've seen a lot of you do it, and it's really awesome. I've gotten upwards of $50 before per super chat, which is really, really cool. But tonight I'm not asking you to do that because I never ask you to do that. But I'm also asking if you guys do have any inclination tonight to send a super chat at the bottom and donate to the show, to please refrain tonight for that, because I'm going to give you guys a little opportunity to donate to a better cause than mine for tonight in the show and be part of our tattoo community locally and show the love and respect that Greg Sumi has taught me how to do. And now just doing my best to pass it down, not just out of duty, although it's part of that, but also out of respect. So it's an honor to be able to, it's an honor to be able to be a part of other people's journeys, even if it's their struggles, because that's real and it's never going away. Okay, so let's get to the next question. What is your ideal kingdom? So if you guys watch the show a lot, you will know, but for those of you that don't, I believe that there are only 4 things a man should be doing every single day. He should be working on his gold, his God, his strength, and his kingdom. That's it, right? So talking today about the kingdom is your network, your people, your family, your communities. So your ideal kingdom is somebody like we've been talking about all night. The ideal kingdom is made up of people, right? A kingdom isn't a place, right? Like the Spartans, they didn't even have temples, they didn't have buildings, they didn't have many fancy things at all. Matter of fact, they were very primitive people, but they had quite a community. So the ideal kingdom is made up of people, right? That they say that home is where the heart is, not home is these 4 walls, right? Although oftentimes it feels like it usually isn't. So my ideal kingdom is made up of people who are pluses, equals, and minuses, who all get together and learn from each other, understand their role, right? There's too many minuses trying to act like pluses. If you guys don't know what that means and didn't hear it earlier, everybody has equals, minuses, and pluses, right? Somebody's better than me at something I'm trying to learn. Someone's equal to me. We like to hang out. Someone's, lesser than me in regards to skill or skill acquisition and or knowledge or something like that. And you can give back, right? I got a 15-year-old kid who wants to learn to tattoo. I can teach him. I got a 45-year-old dude who's been a master at his craft forever and he's been doing portraits, killing it, making millions. I got to learn from him. And then me and Sheldon can go get in our vans and go camping like brothers do and have a great time. That's my equal. You got to have those. And you got to stop acting like a plus or an equal when you're a fucking minus. And it has nothing to do with ego. Well, it has a lot to do with ego for the people that don't accept it, but it has nothing to do with the ego in regards to whether or not you belong in the top, in the middle, or the bottom, whatever. You have to accept the truth. Otherwise, you can never move up. If you're a minus acting like a fucking plus, people just won't like you. People aren't going to like you. They're not going to let you in. They're going to kick you out. You're a fraud. You're a charlatan. And you think, oh, I'm not that. It's easy to tell I'm not, a charlatan, sorry. That I'm not a fake, that I'm not a phony. I'm not that at all. Well, here's one way you can tell. Do people respond well to you? Do they look up to you? Do they ask you questions? Do they ask you for guidance? And at what level are they asking you this? Are they asking you how to get fit, how to build muscle, how to make tons of money, how to get a new car, how to buy a house, how to build a business, how to have good relationships, how to raise kids? What are they asking? Because whatever they're inquiring about, they're qualifying you with, right? If they inquire about, let's say, negative shit, they're always calling you about negative shit. Well, right now they're qualifying you as being the person for that. If they're saying, hey, how do I get help with this? How do I reach this level? How do I do this thing? How do I advance? How do I grow? Well, then they're qualifying you to some degree, right? You're not going to go up to somebody who's out of shape and say, hey, man, like, what do I eat to build muscle? I'm not going to fucking ask you. Even if you know, it won't matter. So you have to represent that in your community. So I think that's incredibly, incredibly important. So that's my ideal community or my ideal kingdom to the question. Okay, we'll get to these other ones here in a second. Natalie says, I'm loving the Artistic Freedom zip-up hoodie. Thank you for that. Dambria, yes, Van Bros, 100%. Dominic, thanks for sending. America! Dig it. Okay. All right, next question. We'll get to these pretty quickly tonight. Okay, so this is interesting. Now to the conversation. Does the code gold, God, kingdom, and strength relate to everyone or mainly just men? No, I think it relates to everybody. But again, you have to know your role, right? I think, again, my motto is gold, God, kingdom, and strength. I don't think that relates necessarily to everybody the same, right? We all have to worry about these things. But I don't want to get too much into the weeds there. I just think that the key is, because you're asking, is it the same for men and women? Well, no, I don't think so. I think the only thing that's the same is probably the God. But even then, if you believe in God, you might believe in hierarchy systems in regards to what we're commanded to do. Men are supposed to be the leader of the household and the head of the family. If that's the case, then no, a woman shouldn't be doing what a man should be doing, that we have our roles. But that's another conversation for another day. But good question. Would love to actually get deeper into that another time. Okay. Reagan just said, Josh, I have a weird question. That's great, Reagan. We're going to have a Q&A here in a little bit. So hold on to that question, unless it pertains to exactly this topic. But we're just talking about right now how to build a community and how important it is, how to do it, and really why you should do it, actually. That's the whole point. Okay, so let's do the last couple of questions here. What kind of community are you building, working on, and surrounding yourself with? ? So what kind of community are you building? Excuse me, guys. I've been talking a lot the last couple of days with all the interviews, and then this is kind of funny. This is the most I've ever spoke before. Practicing. What kind of community are you building? I'm building a community of people that are either willing to abandon their victim mindset, already have abandoned their victim mindset, or don't know that they're supposed to. And upon listening to what we have to share and build here as a community, all of us together, especially myself, are now interested in developing a winner's mindset and abandoning said weak mindset. That's the kind of community I want to build. I don't need everybody to be on my level because that would suck. Then what would that say about somebody above me, my plus? If I'm learning from somebody, how can I be at their level if they're not willing to communicate with me? As long as they give me the advice, which has happened numerous times in my life, somebody tells you what to do, fucking try. If you look up to them and you're asking them advice, stop asking for advice to be heard so you can respond. Ask for advice so you can listen and apply. Because you might be like, I don't think that person's right. Well, if you've never done it and you don't have the results they have, you should fucking try it. You should try it. That's what you should do. Or don't fucking ask and don't waste your time. So that's the kind of community I'm trying to build. As a community of what I call killers, badass people who belong around the round table, people who are part of the community that support the round table. You know, the round table needs cooks and cleaners and, you know, lessers, pluses equals and minuses. It needs everything the round table needs is this everything you have in your life except for somebody at the head. That's what I like about the round table. Not a hierarchy system at the top. The top is made up of equals, and I really dig that. So that's the kind of community I'm trying to build. That's a community I have built and love. Okay, this is interesting. You've created the best surrounding community for yourself. How would one do so for themselves is the question. So I've built a great community, this person's saying, and how would they do this themselves? How could somebody do this themselves? Well, that's what we talked about all night, right? So rewind the last 54 minutes. Gosh, that goes fast. So rewind that and you will find out how. Okay, let's see if this is the last question. Let's find this here. Okay, my phone's tweaking out. What does downtime look like for you? Downtime looks like for me. It looks like 9 o'clock going home, spending 20, 30 minutes with my kids before they fall asleep. That's it. Or at the gym, in the shower before I go to work. And for about 2 to 5 minutes, I do breathing techniques. Or what else? That's pretty much it lately. That's it. And I'm content with that. I'm thankful for it. Why is my phone acting so weird? Okay. What are your thoughts on strengthening your foundation? Solid foundation equals better life, ? What are your thoughts on strengthening your foundation? It's a really vague, broad question also. But what are your thoughts on strengthening your foundation? Do it. That's what you should do. If your foundation's falling apart and you don't want it to, fortify it. It's that simple. So what's your thoughts on strengthening your foundation? Man, if everything falls down in your life and you're completely reduced to rubble and your foundation's weak and it cracks and it breaks, that's it. It's over. It's done. And unfortunately, we all have seen it, and it's not a good thing. Some of us have been in it. Some of us have seen other people in it, and every which way we've seen this side of this. I always think of life and what your personal development journey looks like is a house. It's a building. It's a tower. It's some sort of monument to who you are. And sometimes it falls completely. It's a house of cards, and it falls, especially if it's a house of cards. Man, you'll never know until it actually collapses, and you go, wow, I thought I was different. I didn't think this was me. I didn't even know this could happen to me. So my point is, I think that your foundation is everything. That's why childhood is so important. That's why raising good kids is so important. That's why having community and a family, a mother and a father involved in your life is so important, because I think these things are developed way early on. I do not think they're developed in your teenage or later years. I think these things are developed way early on. And then in your later years, you're sharpening them, recognizing them. Sometimes they're even being revealed to you, because as a kid, you don't know that you're energetic. You just think everybody's like that. You don't know that you're creative. You just think that that's how humans are. You don't understand why your parents don't have enough money to buy something, because you just see them pulling it out of ATM. So just go back to the ATM and pull more out, right? We probably all told our parents that, like, at one point, like, hey, go to the ATM and get more money, Mom. We just didn't know. So I think that what's really important in terms of your foundation is, man, it's everything about community and family. It's all about that. And so the question is then, does that solid foundation make a better life? 100%. 100%. Because you could have the baddest fucking building ever. And if it's built on sand, we all know what happens. And it's really, really not good. So we're all going to get shook. Everybody's getting shook up. I hate to tell you this, by the end of everybody's lives, it's coming for you. Tragedy. It's unfortunate. And, everybody wishes they could help you, and everybody wishes they could bail you out. Everybody wishes at some point in their life they could be bailed out, and it's just not real. Life is real, and it's difficult, and we will all have to face it at some point, and all hopefully in different periods. And that's why we're here. That's why we're coming together, and that's why we're strengthening our communities, right? You guys are here right now strengthening a community. You're in the comment section. You're joining me for events. You're part of the business. You're showing so much love. When the building got broke into, the amount of people that reached out was it's incredible, right? I had people show up right away to help me fix my door. Josh showed up right away to lend me a hand. A friend of mine has a welding business. He showed up right away to, fix the steel and add some reinforcement. Just so many badass people. So it's just really cool, and I could talk about this all night, but it's already been an hour. So I want to get to a couple other topics before we jump off here, and then give you guys a chance to do some Q&A. So that's good topics right there for an hour about community. And man, it's worth a rewatch if you're jumping in at a later point right now. Okay, make sure I have everything here. Okay, so we have some new people jumping on tonight. Let's make sure this audio is nice and crispy for you. Ashlyn just jump on. What's up, Ashlyn? She's saying, R.I.P. Chris. Thank you for sending that. Okay, build your foundation in heavenly places. It will never be destroyed or stolen. Yes, 100%. Thank you for sharing that, Natalie. Kimmy says, sometimes you just need to stand by someone or have someone stand by you in those times of need. That is 100% true. A lot of people find themselves in hard places or somebody else in a hard place, and they always say in times of tragedy or need that I wish there was something I could say. I know there's nothing I can do. I know there is something all of us can do. Be available. Be readily available. Sometimes just be a listening ear. Have nothing to say. Just a listening ear. Anybody going through tough times knows how important that can be. You do not need to be fancy. You do not need to go out of your way to try to prove something to anybody. You don't have to be the person who donates the most or gives the most or, is posting the most about somebody. Not that those things are bad, but just being there for somebody, just being a listening ear. And when somebody's foundation is rocked, man, they just need a reminder that there's a little bit of stability and that they're not completely lost. They might feel that way, but at least there's a little reminder that the community comes together and says, we see you, we recognize you, and you're not alone. And that can be everything to somebody when they're absolutely fucking broken. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to see if I can read all these questions here, but before I do, and then you guys will be opened up to Q&A. If you have any questions, we can just have an open discussion, however you guys want to roll. It's really going to be up to you. But I'm going to make a quick announcement before we do the Q&A, and then we'll end the night with any questions you guys may have. Okay, let's see here. That would be awesome, Josh. Oh, so you guys are communicating in the comment section. That's awesome. I'm just trying to read through these so I don't miss any. D'Ambria. Ashton says, just hold space. Yeah, I would say that's a good way to put it. I kind of like that. It reminds me of just saying, just hold the line. Right? Just maintain. Just remain and just be right now, right? If you're in a position right now, and Shauna's on here. Thank you so much, Shauna, for joining us tonight. Shauna, if you don't mind, because I don't want to butcher it, if you don't mind, can you introduce yourself and let anybody just real briefly, if you will, you don't have to, mention to everybody why it is you are here tonight. And if you want to say any words before we get into announcing some of the ways you guys can support Shauna and also Chris tonight and talk a little bit about his legacy is something I want to touch on. So there we go. Let's see here. You are surround yourself. Dominic says you are who you surround yourself around is one thing. And he says I, but it probably says I know. I totally agree. I think you become like people just by being in the proximity. There's a good little hack for community, but it's really a personal developmental hack is get around people. That's why community is so important. You will develop so much faster by being around somebody who's, greater than you. I'm telling you that's it. Now, sometimes you need the equals and sometimes you need the minus. You got to figure that out for yourself and play those cards. That's funny. Amanda's saying that her son just told her that tonight. Just pull out more money, Mom. Okay. Lenore, that's awesome. Okay, Dambria, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Ashlyn, hey. Okay. So Shauna says, just that I appreciate all that has been done for Chris today. Thank you to all his family and friends. That's awesome. And it's nice to hear that you do have people around you and a community of people. I know you do because as soon as I heard any of the news about Chris, people were messaging me instantly. And so people from all over all corners of, my community, it was really, sad and, unfortunate, but at the same time, wonderful to see people come together. And that's the whole point of this stream tonight. So Shauna, thanks for sharing that. Chrissy says this is uplifting. Good. Because I hope that it is. Birds of a feather flock together, says Dambria. That's right. So Shauna's on here. So Shauna is, let's see, I'm going to share something real quick with you guys. Shauna's on here. She's got her icon up. You guys can see her and Chris together. So I'm going to share something with you guys right now, best I can, with as much respect and humility as I can. So if I don't have the right words, please excuse me. But I'm going to bring this up. So this is Chris Border. You guys, a lot of you already know who he is and have already heard the news. For those of you that don't, I'll tell you a little bit about him and my relationship with him. So I've actually never in person met Chris, at least that I remember. We probably have crossed paths, but we weren't buddies and we definitely didn't hang out. But what I will say is he was a local tattoo artist, and I mean, so many people know this guy. He's built quite a community. So since that's a conversation tonight, you are right now looking at somebody who was really a master, I would say, at building community, because all the time people would say, they would drop his name all the time. Mind you, this guy, he has a lot of experience in the tattoo community. He's owned his own shop before as a business owner and artist. He has been tattooing for as long as I've known him or known of him. And, he recently passed away, which is obviously why we're bringing him up. So that was just this month. And I think that not only do a lot of people respect and look up to this guy, but Chris actually would often message me, whether it was through DMs or even through comments on my work. And he was always super supportive, which is really why I feel like it was an honor to be able to bring this up tonight, and why I'm really touching base with Chris here with you guys, is because this guy is an example. He was a living example of how to show that community within, the tattoo industry, but not just that. I mean, just community in general, with family, with friends. People love this dude, and I know that because I've heard it for years. And he would message me time to time, or even on my DMs. Super positive, super, super kind person, as tough as he looks and as good as his tattoos are. And, the people that he works with, it can be intimidating in the tattoo industry to look at somebody else's work and be like, oh man, like you want to be competitive or whatever. But Chris was always just super, super motivating and supportive. Anytime he'd see me do something awesome, he would leave a good comment. And the other thing that's interesting is, if I were to message him in any way on his work that was posted online, he would immediately be like, man, it's so cool to have Josh Farmer in your DMs, like saying something. So let's just put it this way. Chris looked up to me a lot, and I don't say that with anything but a heavy heart. Chris was awesome. He was always cool to me and respectful. Everybody that knows him says the same, that he was just a sweetheart. And the fact that he was always so cool to me, even though we never physically met, he was just always so cool. And everybody told me that all the time, like, man, he looks up to you, like this Chris guy, like he talks about you, he says this, he says that. Like, he was always really supportive of my work, and a guy I never met, right? Never personally met. And he would just, I don't know, he looked up to me a lot, and I took that as like almost a big brother, even though we were the same age, like a big brother position. So I just have to mention that you guys, since the topic tonight is community, I think that says a lot right there, right? What Chris's legacy is not just a whole lineage of tattooing on, thousands of people most likely, and, a staple, like he's He even self-proclaimed that he is, got his own style when it comes to roses. I remember one time he had mentioned that his roses are always recognized anywhere people go, that's a Chris Border rose. So I thought that was really cool when he said that, because it's true. You can definitely tell his style there. Of course, you guys can always look up his work online, but I'm sure you'll see it walking around someday. And that's really quite a testament to who he was. So I wanted to bring him up because there's a way we can, of course, support Chris and his family. One is just by love and just by, concern and letting people, supporting people in these times, no matter who they are, right? You don't have to know somebody physically or personally to, have some love and show some respect. So this is a great way to do it. And I know you guys, as a rad community, you're into that too. I know you are, because you do it for me. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and ask you guys to donate to a good cause and tell you to do that. I'm just going to say, because I know my community is so fucking rad, that this is a great way to reach out to somebody, and especially a family right now in need, that you guys can show some love and support. And so it's a good opportunity for us to be part of something that's worth it. So I just wanted to pay that respect to Chris, and let you guys know my involvement with him. I wanted to read something really quick, actually, and then we'll open it up to the Q&A. I wanted to read something real quick that I asked Shauna tonight. I said, is there anything you'd like me to mention about Chris? And here's what she said. That he was an amazing tattoo artist, an amazing person that would always give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. And he would help anyone in need. He is loved by many, and especially his family and his kids and myself. There you go. So that's Shauna. She sent me that tonight. So Shauna, I hope you don't mind that I read that, but I wanted to send this respects out to Christopher and his family at this time, and let you guys know that if you want to donate, I put it in the link to the Facebook. It's going to be also posted on the social media page. You can find it. I think actually it's even on the YouTube description, I believe. If not, you can definitely find it on Facebook. And it's a way for you guys to donate and show the family some love and some support. I know many of you will, and ahead of time, I respect you and appreciate you. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for you guys to show a family some support. So there we go. Okay, this is cool. Dominic is saying, so now I remember too, because I think it was a yellow or red shock. He's saying, you commented on the motorcycle shock he did on my leg. That's cool. I'm going to have to see that in person. And I remember he was telling me how stoked and excited he was that you acknowledged the work he did on my leg. This is how I knew who you were. That's awesome, Dominic. So you guys talking about community, and now Dominic came to one of my classes just this last class, and I got to make a contact with Dominic. It was really a pleasure to meet him. He was an awesome, energetic young guy. And I thank you for saying that, Dominic, because that means a lot to me. And Shauna, thank you. It was my pleasure. And yeah, I appreciate you. Thanks for being on here too, Shauna. I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, so for the Q&A part, if you guys would like to say anything or bring anything up or have any questions about tonight's episode, feel free. I know some of you are waiting to ask questions. If you want to do that, now is the time. And yeah, so you guys, thanks for showing the love, right, to Chris and to his family and everybody involved. Again, I'll say it one more time. It's so cool to see people come together and show love and support. And so the link for the GoFundMe is up, and you guys can be part of that. And I'll share it a few more times in the coming days. And yeah, give you guys an opportunity just to be part of something cool, part of a man who is absolutely worth it. So Dominic says, I came to your class and I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Dominic. Awesome. There we go. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for tonight, open them up. I know we're talking about building community and all these things, but my mom just messaged me and said, it was good to see you on your podcast tonight. I love you and good night. Well, I love you, mother. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So if you guys have questions, now's the time. I am also going to fill you in just a little bit, not to make it all about me, but it is my show, and that's why you guys are here. So thank you, of course, for sticking through. The shop did get broke into recently, and we do have pictures of the guy. You've probably all seen it. And if not, you can see it on Facebook, but it's been all over the news. It's going to be more on the news. It's a couple of articles written, but now there's going to be some video out hopefully soon. And just to I don't expect any of the stuff that was taken, even though it's nostalgic and meaningful. Look, everything's temporary. Okay. I appreciate things for as long as I have them. And that's what my allotted amount of time was. And that's what I get, whether it's physical or personal or whatever, doesn't matter. I'm just glad everybody's safe and everybody's okay. And I think what's important for me to remember is that in moments like this, you guys all show so much love and support, no matter what it is, whether it's, paying respects to a fellow artist, that was in our local community, or an artist like me who, the shop gets broken into and everybody's concerned, even though everybody's all right and everything's gonna be fine. It's just really cool to see that community come together. It just means everything, right? Because life throws curveballs and sometimes really fucking fast ones, and it's real hard to manage. So this isn't one of those for me, but for a lot of people it can be, and in the future maybe it will be again, and it'll ask for everybody to step up and be part of it, whatever it may be. Who knows? And maybe us for you, maybe you for us, who knows? But what's really cool is to see my team pull together, to see my community, you guys, everybody be so supportive. It's really awesome. And the other thing that's cool is making it onto the news is not that you get to see my ugly mug on the news, but you also get to know that High Sierra Tattoo Co. and Joshua Ray Farmer and all the artists and apprentices and community that I'm building and people I work with aren't to be reckoned with if you don't want to be seen. if you don't want your ugly face, posted, don't come into our shop unwarranted. Don't steal our stuff and don't act a fool, because we will absolutely shame you with absolutely no regard. So we got the guy's face. We have super detailed. By the way, anybody who's seen the footage, the guy was wearing a wig when he was in the building, not when he was outside the building. So the black curly hair that was attached to the back of his head was fake. We could tell by the footage. And so I just wanted you guys to know that, so you don't get it mixed up with a different person. And he's a tall, slender, lanky, creepy, dorky, very loserly like guy. Poor dude probably just has a shit life, and he deserves what's coming to him. So anyways, I like that it's getting put on the news and blasted. I like that you guys shared it and showed a lot of love towards it, because it just sends out a nice public reminder to many people, to many ways, that just don't, this is not a good place to fuck with. You're just going to look like a fool, right? You're going to get caught. You're going to look like an idiot. There's too many people involved for this to be some, just backdoor hokey, entrance. You're going to look like an idiot. So just bad idea, right? I wouldn't recommend fucking with anybody else, but definitely don't come to our shop. You're an idiot for doing so. It's not a warning. It's just a fact. So dude is lucky that nobody was there. I'm blessed that none of the team was there, but he's lucky that I wasn't there. I'll tell you that right now. You won't be making it through any fucking doors. Okay. One of the things the news crew asked me too was, what's your message to the public in regards to all this? And my message was simple. One, don't let people shit on your parade, right? Don't cry over spilt milk. But also, two, check your door jams, check your locks, check your windows. Just make sure you're being safe. Don't be so arrogant. Guys, especially a lot of us who live in California, don't be a fool. Don't act stupid. Teach this to your kids. Be prepared. Train. I do this with our team to let them know that, if somebody comes in acting crazy, what do you do? And we train. We talk about this. We could do it even more, and we should and will now do it more. And so this is a reminder in this time of adversity for us to button up a little tighter. And I think that's what's important. So the news crew asked me, what's a message to the public you have? I would say, one, check your door jams. Make sure they're tight, right? Look up YouTube videos on how to reinforce your door jams, because if you have not done it, I'm going to tell you right now, kicking one of those in with a guy my size or bigger is nothing. It's easy. It's with ease I could get through an exterior door. So fortify those. Look it up online. There's ways to do it with just a couple dollars, and then there's ways to do it all the way up to probably infinite amounts of money. You can build a bunker if you wanted, but just don't be stupid. Just at least make it a little bit harder for the people. Anything from alarms to cameras, but at least make it hard, right? Just look up some of those videos and just don't be a fool in thinking, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Eventually, if you live in California, it's probably going to happen to you, right? Just as likely as you are to get pulled over and get a ticket, you're going to have to deal with these types of things. It's just reality. So don't be dumb. Okay. Ashton says, okay, I thought his hair was odd. Yeah, his hair was very odd because it wasn't his, right? He didn't have hair. I don't want to ruin the stream tonight in respects to Chris and what we talked about earlier, as well as the subject, by sharing maybe some of the photos of the guy that broke in. I don't want to talk about that in relationship to this stream tonight too much, and I definitely don't want to share the photos. because I want to dedicate this stream to Chris and his family tonight. But I knew you guys would have questions, so I want to answer some of them. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Damir says he was trying to look more African American, but he failed. Yeah, I don't know. Or that was just the only wig he got and thought it would disguise him. I'm not sure, but it didn't work. Okay. All right, so if you guys don't have any questions tonight, then let's see, we're at hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to end this pretty shortly with just a thank you, and maybe we can just kind of BS for a second, talk about some of the events coming up real fast, and if you guys want to tell dad jokes, that's super cool. We didn't use a whole lot of sound effects tonight, which is totally fine.
These nuts.
So let me get my fix in.
That's what she said.
You ready?
You can't handle the truth.
I like those. Josh says it's going to get a lot more shit of a life for him. Yeah, I'd feel real stupid if I was this dude right now. I'd feel real dumb if this dude came in my building and stole my shit. And he's all over the news now. So yeah, he's probably just an idiot, total fool. Okay, let's see here. I really appreciate you guys. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about how to build a community, why it's so important, where I learned it from. Thank you, Greg Sumi, for teaching me that there is an actual tattoo community, or at least we're starting to build one and tight knit it a little better. Thank you for teaching me that years ago and humbling me with your actions. What a wonderful man. Regardless of what you guys think of him as a business person or artist or whatever, whether you think he's amazing or whether you have, other opinions of him, I can tell you right now, he's a really solid guy, and I love him for that. So, Greg Sumi, shout out to you. We talked about community and how to build one, why it's so fucking important, because it's really everything in a sense. How to do it, how to get in, how to make sure that you have your pluses, equals, and minuses, and those types of things. Those things are super important. So we covered a lot of that in this episode in the first hour. So rewatch that in the first 54 minutes. We talked a lot about not just community, but how you can enter communities, how you can how you can fortify your life with better communities by making yourself of value, right? Be of service, make yourself known, be skillful, right? Have a good reason for people to want you around. Like one hack, for example, getting around the types of people I wanted to learn from, especially people that know business, no money, no finance, is I got a camera and I started learning how to do photography and videography and shooting, let's say, commercials or social media content for people that were into finance, whether it was lenders or it was real estate agents, it was business owners, and even educators, right? Like I worked a little bit with some of the colleges locally for some of the cosmetic industry. And I just learned so much that's my community now. And man, it's rich. I could pretty much make a phone call and get just about any bit of information I would need in regards to how to get something done, whether it's hire an employee, fix a car, weld up a gate and reinforce it after it's broken into, whatever it is. It's really cool. All the way down to sharing a link with you guys on how to support a family in need right now. That's awesome. So that's what we've done all together, me included, but with the help of you all watching. And so not just watching, I mean, it's more than that, like meeting in person, being part of the events, being part of the business, supporting me, supporting whoever, like just, there's so much. I could just keep going, but I talked about all that. And then also wanted to dedicate this stream specifically to Chris Porter and his family, especially to his kids and to the people he will leave. He's definitely left a legacy, right? You can see a Chris Porter tattoo from a mile away, especially when it comes to the roses he did. That's from me looking from the outside in, to the people who knew him and I've heard nothing but wonderful things about this man. So he's obviously made an impact. So Chris, dedicating this episode specifically to you. Really wonderful to see another artist, another man, another stand-up person providing and protecting his family with his craft, just like all of us strive to do, and being a good example, being an artist, being a family man, and being really a community leader, you can say, right? And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me on that. So I thank you and Sean, I thank you so much for being on here. All of you guys, I thank you for being on here. If you're interested or can't find the link, let me know, DM me. If you guys are interested in any of the events coming up, also DM me or go to the website, check it out, and do that. Let me get into the comments before we sign off here. Okay, so what do chickens wear? Wait, what? Why don't chickens wear underwear? And Maria says, why? Kim says, because their peckers are on their face. Wow. Okay, that was pretty good. I like that one. That's nice. It's real nice. Appreciate it. Everybody seems to be laughing. That's really fun. Natalie says, get to know your neighbors. Yeah, good old-fashioned fun right there. Good one, Natalie. I appreciate that. Damber says, take action. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. 100% true. Yeah. Matter of fact, you guys could. I know this is a live stream, and that's how we're communicating is via words. But do more physical action and less talking. It's much better. It's so much better. GDH Fish, and thanks for being on here. Very cool icon. Would love to look at your channel if you have anything on here or specific. It seems like you would actually have a channel of videos. I don't know if you do, but really cool icon there. Dig that. He says, I love and miss you, cousin Chris Porter, aka Critter. You are deeply missed. R.I.P. Big Dog. Thank you for sending that. No Town just jumped on. What's up, No Town? You missed a good one. Hopefully you can go back and watch it. Jessica's on here. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us, sending some hearts. That's awesome. Okay, so you guys got into the comment section. You got spicy. You got real. You got fun. And maybe it was real fun. But again, thank you guys for showing love and respect. Thank you guys for being part of this community and helping me along the way. You know, feeling like you're part of something. Like even when the building got broke into recently, Josh on here had said, he had mentioned right away, so I know you got an army behind you, but I just showed up to help. And yeah, and man, just the simplest things they go so far, right? Yeah, it's just such a big deal. I'm not talking about always just being kind and always making people feel good. I'm just saying, like, take action, do physical things, like to Damber's point. Be a person of action instead of words. And if you don't have anything you know you could do, sometimes just be present. Just make yourself available, right? That's it. Sometimes people just need to know that somebody's there in a time of need if necessary. So that goes a long way. We all know that because it's probably all been done to us. We've all had those people in our lives, and it's not to be underrated. Dominic says, working on my portfolio right now as I'm listening to you. Good, because you should have a portfolio and you should never go anywhere without one. If you're an artist, you should have your portfolio with you. I should say that if you're looking to build your career, if you're looking to get a job, if you're looking to advance, you should always have your portfolio with you, 100%. Okay, scrolling down, seeing if you guys are saying anything spicier that I need to do addressed, right? Just do what I can. Kimmy says, good night, everyone. Good night, Kimmy. Appreciate you being on here. Reagan says, can I buy fake tattoo skin that you've already tattooed so I can use it as artwork? That's interesting. Reagan, that's an interesting question. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Like you want to use it as artwork for a project or in your house, or I'm not sure what that's for. But Reagan, if you want to, I do have some apprentices who work on fake skin all the time. And I don't know if you like maybe need something designed or you want something to keep for yourself. But the best thing for you to do would be call us tomorrow. You can totally email us too, or you can go to our website, highsierratattooco.com, and you can fill out the contact form if you like. But maybe just call us. Give us a call tomorrow from like 10 to 6, maybe 7-ish, who really knows. But give us a call tomorrow. We call after 4, you're going to get Ambergram, and Ambergram is the best assistant the world could ever buy, that money could buy, that I could ever afford, and that I don't deserve. So call us tomorrow. Talk to Ambergram after 4, and we'll hook you up. Natalie says, I offer hugs. Good. Awesome. For everybody. We're going to have a whole evening of just hugs. Amanda says, thank you, Farmer, for all you do for the community. Thank you, because we are all making one community up, and it's awesome. So thank you for that. Okay, spiciness. You're right. Oh, Reagan says, like decorations for my house. Cool. So hit us up, and we can figure out what to do for you. Maybe design something. That sounds pretty cool. So everybody, thanks for being on here. It's been a great night for making the best of what we can out of this all. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for showing support to Chris Porter's family. And, just, I don't know, man, just thank you guys all for being on here. And thank you guys all for being so fucking rad, right? Like, this is an important episode, but we have so many more to go. This is episode 87, Artistic Freedom, Joshua A. Farmer. You guys join me in the comments section and get spicy. That's what makes up the show. That's how we build a community. And I love you for it. I appreciate you. Don't forget the link if you guys want to get the link to show the support for the Chris Porter's family. You can do that on the in the descriptions and or on Facebook. And I appreciate you. I will see you guys next time, next week, Wednesday. Let's get spicy. Josh Farmer, out.
Give me your fucking money!
You can't handle the truth.
That's what she said.